Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on this YouTube video. This will be just a quick introduction into our AI-powered analysis feature and to give you a little bit more information on this new tool that we have on PlaytestCloud to help you analyze your game and discover why players are playing your game, how they play. To briefly start off, maybe you're unfamiliar with PlaytestCloud and you've stumbled across this video. For those of you who don't know, and in that case, PlaytestCloud is a service which gives game studios access to real players to effectively provide game studios with outside players playing your game in their natural environments and on their own devices. We've been around for a long time and have seen so many studios helped to do things like reduce churn, dropout rates, improve first-time user experience, and player enjoyment. Well, we're really excited today to announce and to dive a little bit deeper in this short video to talk about this AI-powered analysis feature and to kind of join this AI revolution with our own AI-powered feature. And I think you're really going to enjoy this. We have couple different guests here today to kind of dig deeper into it. Not only talk about what it does and how does it work, but actually why to use it in some of the science and research and how to kind of bring this into your research. The first person I wanted to introduce you to is Rohan Joseph. He is our product manager and will show you all of what it's all about. And he's going to go in and show you what it's all about and why we're so excited about this new feature. So
Hi,
take it away, Rohan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction, Pei. It's a really exciting feature that we're now, happy to release. One of the things we've always heard is that, before you start your video, your analysis of your playtest videos, it always seems like such a massive task. I've got to watch all these videos. I've got to, make annotations. I have to figure out what makes sense. Where are the insights that make sense for my research? And we thought that AI would really help that process. And we wanted to see what we could do to make that process as easy as possible, right? So what we have right now is what we're calling AI-powered analysis. And what that does is it uses AI to analyze your transcript and identify important moments across your playtest videos, right? So right now, just for an information perspective, what we're using is GPT-4, but the AI landscape is always changing, so that might change in the future. For now, we're using GPT-4 because that's the one that we feel gives us the best results most consistently. So that's what we're using right now. And from a data perspective, what you should definitely know is that we don't share any information around the player, so their demographics and their name and so on, or anything about the customer or the person who's ordered the playtest. All we share with the AI is the transcript of the video and the game name that you enter when you ordered the playtest. So, very often that's not the actual game on release, but it's just to give context to the AI on what they're analyzing, right? So that's how it works from a data perspective. No other data is being shared with the AI. And also importantly, we haven't opted in and don't intend to opt in to the data sharing option where GPT-4 trains itself on the data shared. So it won't be training itself. We haven't opted for that. We don't want to opt for that, right? So the idea how it works is that we share the transcript with the AI, and we ask it to analyze the playtest on 5 criteria: usability, game design, enjoyment, monetization, and frustration. So it looks at these 5 aspects and tries to create like a roadmap for the video, right? So it tries to highlight moments where the player expresses those emotions or at least speaks about those specific aspects of it. And that just gives you something to work with when you open up the video. So okay, I'm interested mostly in frustration. These are the moments that seem to be about frustration. Let me go and talk about these. Let me watch these moments in the video. And then I can obviously dig deeper and get some real insight out of it. Because that's an important distinction to understand here. The AI is not going to give you insights. It's not going to give you, a detailed analysis of what's happened. It'll probably it will give you observations of what's happening where and the emotions the player is expressing. The why that's happening is usually in the hands of the person analyzing the video. Why is frustration happening, and what's causing that? When you watch the video, as you watch the player play, you'll probably be doing a much better job of understanding that and highlighting what needs to be fixed or changed in your game, right? That's on everything actually that I had in mind for how the feature works. Now I want to go on to um, which playtest is AI powered analysis available on. So it's available on any playtest type where we create videos. So that would mean interviews, live playtests, normal regulars, a single session playtest, multi-session longitudinals. I guess the only one that left out of that is survey playtest, because there's no video being recorded there. So yeah, and like I mentioned before, we're using the transcript. So with the video, there's a transcript, and then using that transcript, we run the entire analysis. All right. And now finally, who has access to it? From a company perspective, and from our how the product's going to work, it's going to be available to everyone, regardless of subscription level and so on, bar a few accounts here and there. Actually, Jake, you might have a better explanation on who does and doesn't have access.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me jump in here. So this feature is being kind of slowly rolled out and is completely optional. It can be easily turned on and off at the moment. But we're totally aware. I know with AI, it's new territory. It's a brand new world out there. And so we're totally aware that not all teams or companies are comfortable. Or maybe some companies as well have some AI policies in place. So we're totally aware of that. And we're completely understandable if you're not comfortable in using it. That's why this feature can be turned on and off directly from the order form, or even in some cases completely disabled from your account by request of you or your account manager. So if you'd like us to turn it on or maybe to turn it off, let us know and we're happy to do that. Rohan?
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So then let me show you, once you have access to the feature, how do you manage it and what do you do with it, right? So I'm going to open up the order form and show you how that works. All right. So this is the standard page where you go to create your playtest order, right? I've selected a single session playtest in this scenario. So you set up the playtest how you normally would. You select the game, upload your build, and so on and so forth. And finally, towards the end, there's now a new section called AI powered analysis. If your organization has access to the feature, by default, it's enabled for all playtests. But you have the choice of going here and saying no, and when that is done, the playtest will not be automatically analyzed once the videos are created. All right. Let's say, and now, so once you've ordered your playtest, and let's say the video is published, this is kind of what it will look like, where in the annotations tab, you will see annotations created by AI. You see a little robot icon there, and the author is AI. And you'll see what the annotation's for. So you can see this one's for game design, enjoyment, and so on. You also obviously have the option of hiding it. If you don't want to see it, you can obviously turn it off as well. And of course, you can also, as a user, add your own annotations as well. And you can see them as a combination or without it. That's up to you completely. So yeah, it uses the hashtags feature. So you can collate that across all the videos in your playtest. The other thing that we ask the AI to do, along with annotations where it points out observations for the 5 criteria I mentioned earlier, we also ask it to create a summary. So you can see that here, it summarizes its observations across the entire video. And once again, you can turn that off. Like Jake mentioned, you can just go and turn that off if you're not happy with it, if it doesn't make sense. That's something you can absolutely do. All right. You also get to see it on your playtest, the main page for your playtest as well. So you can see that's the same video here. You see the summary right here. You see all the observations and the annotations from the AI in the different categories. You can see them across this entire video. So yeah, that's how it works. Let me stop sharing my screen. Actually, one last thing before I stop sharing the screen. On the order form, there's this link here, which takes you to a detailed help set article, which covers a lot of details on the entire feature. So if there's anything that you need to know, the answer's probably here. You should definitely check that out. All right, switching back to me. All right, so finally, let's talk about some specific scenarios around how this whole feature will work and what happens if something goes wrong, right? It's possible, not very possible, it is possible that the AI analysis doesn't make sense because it is based on the transcript in the end. So if there's something wrong with the transcript, the analysis will also be a little off. So we have a couple of options here. You can obviously reach out to us and ask us, hey, the analysis seems a little out of touch or out of context. Can you rerun the analysis for us? And we can do that. We have some tools that allow us to do that instantly. So we'll rerun the analysis for you. Or one more thing you could consider is that if you have a specific research goal in mind, you have two options. Either when you're ordering your playtest itself, add a special request saying that for my AI analysis, please use this aspect, or please highlight this aspect. And then we can do that for you. Or you can contact us after and say, actually, could you change the analysis and run it this way? We can do that as well. All right. I'll give you a quick example. So for example, let's say you've introduced a new weapon in the game and you want to know and look at every moment the player mentions that new weapon. So that's a perfect example of what you want to say. So you give us the name of that weapon and we try and highlight that in the analysis as well. All right. Or it could be about, if you're very interested in enjoyment, or if you want us to highlight that some more, we can do that as well. Right. And then some of the things that might be hidden here. Some interesting things that we've kind of played around with, and of course we've had a lot of fun with this feature. So something we've tried is, if you are running a BYOP playtest, which is using your own players, and let's say they don't necessarily speak English, that also works. It works perfectly. We generate the transcript, we send that translated. We translate that, send it to AI, and it works perfectly. Like I mentioned, you can also get custom instructions for the AI. That's something you can do. Or if you have something else in mind, we're also quite kind of having fun with this one. So if you have something interesting that you want to try, we're open to it. Please just let us know, and we can make that work for you. All right. And finally, I guess a question that's going to come up quite a bit: if you can run it on past playtests, that's something we can definitely do. Again, once again, what you want to do is reach out to us and say, hey, can I get this past playtest analyzed as well? And we can work with you to get that done. All right, that's I think everything that I wanted to cover. Jake, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rohan. I think it's a really cool feature, and I think it's really going to be helpful to people. And one thing I want to mention as well is you talked about the different languages. You could also, if English is not your first language, you can also use that as a way to help bridge that gap. With, most of our playtest, English is going to be their first language that they're going to be testing, as long as you're not using BYOP. So maybe you're from a country that isn't so keen on English fluency. Maybe that can also give you some help. But thanks for the introduction into all things AI analysis playtesting. Now that you really know what is powered with AI analysis, I'll let you go, Rohan. Thanks. I'm sure this raises a few questions, more than it answers. That's why I brought in a teammate, Gareth Lloyd. He's our in-house expert, games user researcher, and is a great resource. Gareth, thanks for joining us and thanks for being here.
Hi, Jake, and thanks, Rohan, for the very good intro as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be really exciting. And I know that a lot of people are going to be starting to use this new feature, have a lot of questions, comments, concerns, and that sort of stuff. It's new territory, like I started with. So not everybody knows what's going on with this, and it's a new type of research as well. So I have a couple questions that I kind of came up with that I wonder about if I were to be starting AI analysis. My first one being, how would you work with AI analysis while analyzing a playtest? In other words, at the very basic level, what is your process?
So I think I'll talk about this from the perspective of someone, with a games user research background. And I think definitely remember it's just one way to integrate it in your process and how you might actually find better ways than I have for working with it. It's all new. This is new stuff. It's weird and everything. So I've been able to use it for a few playtests now, a few projects. Back when it was a much more basic version of what we actually have in the platform. But in that time, it's like slotted into my workflow between watching a single player video with it turned off and that subsequent process of going through and making annotations and hashtags. So I will still watch one video and annotate it with the AI turned off. Because for me, that first look without any input is too valuable and I want to keep it. But then I'll work with the annotations that the AI has made to make my notes for the other videos. I'll be looking at interesting moments that it highlights, use the transcript and, match it all up, try and get a feel for what's actually going on in each of the moments that it highlights. And generally then I'm able to go through the other videos at a higher speed, like literally a higher speed. I turned the speed up and can do it that way instead. So that's where it fits in for me.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. That's kind of counterintuitive to how I would think about doing it. But I like that you've had that experience where to like, okay, turn it off and then turn it on and kind of compare and contrast. Because in my mind as well, this isn't a complete replacement. This is more, it's designed as an asset for your analysis, but not a replacement for good analysis. What is your kind of opinion on that from a games user researcher or somebody in the industry?
Yeah. So again, from this user researcher perspective, like there are projects where it might take me weeks to analyze a playtest. Watching like many hours of videos in that time. And what the AI tool can do there is remove hours from that early part of the process. And that's a really big deal to me. Like it doesn't sound a lot when I say it, but it's coming from a completely empty playtest, which when you look at it and you come in for the first time, it's a fairly daunting prospect, to one that's already got some notes. It's got some sketches of the behavior and issues that are happening in there. And there are some pointers for what you can be looking at. Like I psychologically find it very nice having it there, I guess, to have. But no, I don't think it replaces the value of a researcher's eye. Like maybe I will end up eating my words here, but I don't think AI analysis will ever replace human analysis here, but it will help humans to do research a bit faster and less time spent on the most like grinding bits of the work, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, we return playtest videos back to you within 48 hours, and always throughout the years, the choke point has really been the researcher, on the side of, okay, now I need to watch these videos. Especially the thing I always like to say is if you are analyzing a longitudinal playtest, let's say you have 5 videos, 1 hour each for 5 days. That's 25 hours of content. And that is the same as watching all the Harry Potter movies and analyzing them. And probably Harry Potter movies are going to be a little bit more interesting than watching the same 3 levels of a video game over and over again. In some cases, in my opinion. But I think the thing, this is a really cool tool, and this is something that's going to be really important to use. But it doesn't replace the researchers, and we want to make sure that we are maintaining scientific integrity and avoiding bias. And if I were somebody, it would be one of the bigger concerns I would have as well. And how do you balance that?
Yeah, it is one of mine as well. I think it's the right question to be asking as we introduce it. And I think my view, having used it a bit, is that it's about having processes of review and verification of what you're doing. So when I'm doing anything with AI, not just this tool, like any other tool, I know it's not going to give me my end result right away. I need to iterate on it. Or maybe it's my helper. It's inspiration for the thing that I'm actually going to create out of it. And this is the same. Like here, it's reviewing, checking the video, looking at the parts of the video that are not commented on. Those are really important. Can't just ignore the bits between the AI comments, and eventually turning those the flag moments into actionable insights. I've been calling my processes with the AI triaging, because it helps me locate interesting bits in the video, and even sometimes it gives me a steer on what is actually happening in those moments, and that's great. But it's not the final product. It's not an insight. if you use it in this way, and you're also doing the reviewing videos yourself, you're checking transcripts, you're following up leads with it, then I think that is what gives you like a head start on avoiding bias. If you're the one pulling insights out of these annotations, you're not going to have these issues of integrity and bias.
I really like that analogy of like the triage and that kind of thing. I think that's a really good way to put it. One last question I have is, so maybe a lot of people think that like, hey, using an AI tool is going to be more for somebody who's new or maybe a little bit more experienced. You have a lot of experience in the game user research field, and a lot of our users do as well, where they have years and years of experience and have done multiple different games and different genres and different companies. If you are one of those that are the seasoned veteran game user researcher, how can this tool help you as well? Is there any other way of looking about it?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because what we wanted to do with this was provide like an effective way, for bringing in new tech, I guess, and using it to support seasoned and new games user researchers. I came in from very much like a skeptic position, as I think everyone should with this. Like, maybe it's a me thing, but I think it's the way that you should look at this. But we've tried to build something that supports you doing games user research. It helps you avoid like a bit of the most time-consuming part of analyzing a playtest, highlights potential issues, tries to sum up the player experience, all that stuff. Because ultimately, we want you to be able to analyze the playtest faster, and we think it can do that. We think it does do quite a good job with it. It's not a replacement for watching your videos with a researcher's eye here, but it's a pretty effective tool for doing that faster and ensuring you don't miss key moments.
I really like that. That's how I think it should really be there. It's a safety net to help you avoid those key moments or missing those key moments. Is there anything else you want to add as a last gesture? You don't need to, but is there anything else you didn't cover that you kind of thought in your head as you were kind of going through this?
I mean, it is that point about going from a slightly skeptical position to, I actually kind of want this now when I'm analyzing a playtest. It's just nice having those first few hours supported with, I guess, when I come in as a blank canvas, I can turn it on or off. It's handy. It's not the end result, but it does help you get there.
Yeah, and I think even if you're skeptical, you should at least turn it on for one, see what happens, see what it looks like, and then decide if you want to use it or not. And as we said, it's fair, if you want to use it, and fair if you don't. I mean, this is a tool. It may be sometimes you don't necessarily always need to use all the tools in your tool belt, for sure.
Yeah.
But, well, thank you, Gareth, for joining us on that. And that was really helpful to kind of give a little bit of a different insight on kind of when to use it, when not, and kind of get into the mind rather than just looking at what's new and what this feature can do. But I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, Jake.
Well, if you have any more questions, Rohan showed us a really good Help Center article, and we'll link that in the video as well. We have a blog and a website. If you have any other additional questions or any trouble activating AI-powered analysis on your account, you can fill out the form here on the screen, and it's going to be also in the video description, and we can it'll reach out to us and we can start a conversation and help you get that set up. So anyway, I want to thank again Rohan and Gareth for joining us, and we hope that this feature helps you better discover why players are playing how they play in your game development process. So until next time, thanks for joining us and have a good day.